Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Mega Man 4 Part 5. So now, we're at the part of Dr. Cossack's castle. Now we're gonna fight Dr. Cossack himself. We're probably gonna end this plot of his and find out what his big deal is. I wonder if that's supposed to be space in the background, so we did go to space already in Ringman's level in this stage. So we're gonna want to recharge our Pharaoh shot, because Pharaoh Man's weapon is one of the best weapons. It probably is the greatest weapon in the game. It's the closest thing we get to the Metal Blade in this game, and we'll be needing it to fight the final boss, or one of the final bosses at least I think we will. But it's good to charge as much, to give as much energy to your weapons as much as possible. And right now, Pharaoh Man's weapon's the weapon that's the weakest right now, or has the least amount of energy right now, because I've, been using it a lot for those past boss fights. And so there's these things, these really modest cannon things like to hide themselves most of the time, unless they're going to shoot a shot at Mega Man. That's going to destroy them. So the drill is very similar to the hard knuckle from Mega Man 3 in this game around, because it could be used to destroy some of those walls. It's also a bit like the crash bomb as well too. Actually, it's more similar to the crash bomb from Mega Man 2. Hard knuckle was really slow in Mega Man 3. The crash bomb was really nice and fast, but not the most accurate. The drill bomb actually is the better. It probably is the best of those weapons I just listed. And look at that, more spy bots. They really seem to have an arm. Dr. Cossack really seems to have a thing for these spy bots, or these spy bats, or whatever he calls them. These robot bat things. I don't know, maybe he has an army of them. Maybe he likes them. Maybe it's not working. Maybe it's not, has nothing to do with Dr. Wily. Maybe he just likes the design so much that he just stole it for himself. Maybe he bought a lot from Dr. Wily. I don't know, there's still so many things that could possibly be going on. These bats seem to be one of the most common enemies in this game. And there we just picked up a one-up of Mega Man. Some people say it looks more like Mario's head than Mega Man's head, but it's clearly Mega Man's head. It actually changes color too, just like in the other games, depending on which weapon you currently have equipped or gadget. As I filled the rush coil, because the rush coil is very, we're going to be needing the rush coil a lot too. Oh look, those shield things, those flying shield things again, that we're going to be seeing in more Mega Man games after this, because oh boy, there's a lot of Mega Man games after this. We can usually evade them easy just by sliding under them. The slide's a very useful thing in this game. They introduced it in Mega Man 3, and it's still just as useful as it's always been in Mega Man 4. We don't really need that health, we're still full of health. Looks like there's supposed to be something in here, but there isn't. They may have put some more slinkies in here. I don't know, maybe they forgot to put some more slinkies in there. Those slinky enemies, the slinkies in there. So Dr. C, because we're really trying to use as many letters of the alphabet as possible. W's for Wily, C for Cossack. And look at that, it's Dr. Cossack. We're gonna fight Dr. Cossack. He's in some sort of claw thing. Looks like that claw thing out of Toy Story. But wait, isn't there supposed to be a boss gauntlet before we go to the final boss? Because doesn't every Mega Man game should have that? I know, maybe I thought boss gauntlets were a little too cliche or too overused at this point. So now we're just gonna, the only way to really beat this thing is just by using charged Mega Buster shots on him, or even partial, or even not charged Mega Buster shots. Those didn't do a lot of damage. Your best bet's just to run and slide and shoot the Buster shots at him, which take out some of his health. You see there, we're really doing a number on this guy. Really destroying this guy. See, sometimes it's better just used faster. Oh, there we go. We defeated him, I think. What's this? It's Proto Man, and he has some Russian girl with him. Please, Mega Man, don't! My father is not really evil! Dr. Wily took me hostage and forced my father to fight you! Please, Mega Man, don't hurt my father anymore! Oh, Kalinka! Father! Mega Man, please forgive me! You betrayed me, Proto Man! I'm gonna break you dead, Mega Man! Ah, so it was Wily this whole time after all! So Dr. Cossack wasn't really evil, and Dr. Wily's the true culprit behind this entire game, this entire plot. How do we not see this coming? This whole game had Dr. Wily written all over it right from the very beginning. Even before we actually started the game and it mentioned Mega Man destroying Dr. Wily's plans 3 times already, we knew Dr. Wily was going to be doing something. We knew he had a few cards up his sleeve. He had some tactic plan. So now we have to go to yet another castle. Yeah, if one castle wasn't enough, there's another castle in this game we have to go to, the Dr. Wily castle. We're going to be doing more climbing and more, oh look at that, Met tools. There's a lot of Met tools. You know, Dr. Wily loves his Met tools. He probably stole them from, well, actually no, now we know none of this was Dr. Cossack's doing. It was all Dr. Wily's doing this whole time. Dr. Wily everything. Only Dr. Cossack could give us stuff that could help us beat Dr. Wily. That would have been cool, but no, that's kind of a lost opportunity on their part. Or maybe that NES system wasn't wasn't good enough for that, which is another sign that maybe they should, you know, go to the next system now, which would have been the SNES. But no, Capcom still doesn't seem to like the SNES. I don't know, did Capcom have something against the Super NES? So is that why they kept releasing Mega Man games in the NES? But again, even Nintendo kind of likes still releasing games for the NES. They released Wario Woods on the NES very late in the NES years. And even the Kirby games, even before there were any Kirby games on the SNES, they just had Kirby games on the regular NES. I'm pretty sure this game predates Kirby's Adventure, which was on the NES. I think that was the only Kirby game on the NES. I'll probably do a Let's Play of that game eventually. So it needs to be refilled. I'll just use the drill. It's the most important weapon we have right now. We probably will be needing it for a future boss coming up. But look at that. We're going underwater. Again, there's low buoyancy. It's going to become like Bubble Man stage. So now this is the perfect time to demonstrate the Rush Marine. This is the only time the Rush Marine ever really comes in handy. Remember the Rush Marine from Mega Man 3? Well, this is the only time it's ever useful in this game. Rush just opens his mouth and plasma shots come out of his mouth. It's really hard to maneuver it too, because it sticks like a sore thumb. Rush Marine really is useless in this game. I bet I could have done that easy without using the Rush Marine, but I don't know, I still want the viewers to see what Rush Marine is. So there, it's official now. I've now used all 3 of the different rushes in this game has to offer. Now I just need to use the Rush Jet to get over here, because there's no magnet beam in this game. But there's that wire thing, which I think I might be able to use the wire thing maybe if you play your cards right and time it well with the reappearing, disappearing blocks, but that's a little bit challenging. Blocks are going to get in the way of these infamous reappearing, disappearing blocks. They seriously expect us to walk around these blocks. Yeah, right. I'd rather just use the gadgets that we're given. We're given these gadgets for a reason, right? The reason why the game gives us these gadgets, so it gives us the right to be lazy and skip these nerve-wracking jumping on boxes or things like that. These jumping on boxes that reappear and disappear magically in the air. They look like something that could have been in a Tetris game or something like that. Mega Man mixed with Tetris. They actually haven't done that yet. Mega Man Tetris. There's a Mega Man racing game. There's a Mega Man fighting game. Well, actually, it's technically not really a fighting game, no, but it is kind of a little bit like Mega Man the Power Battle, Mega Man the Power Fighters. It kind of is a fighting game to a very small extent, but, you know, I wouldn't really call it a fighting game. It's really just like what boss fights are, but it's only boss fights. But there was a Mega Man racing game. I think there was even a Mega Man board game at some point in time, too. Kind of like what Mario Party is, but it's with Mega Man, if I remember correct. I think there was something like that. I don't know. It may have only came out in Japan. I don't know. Then there's Mega Man Soccer, I think, if I remember correctly. There's a Mega Man Soccer game. Mega Man actually does have a lot of spin-off games now, the more I think of it. And this Pharaoh shot's supposed to be the weakness of this Met Tool boss, because every enemy in this game's a Met Tool. Even the boss has to be a Met Tool. Even the boss isn't exempt from this rule. With the really large Met Tool that jumps around and slams his body on the ground, the best way to fight him is simply by using the Mega Buster. Using Mega Buster shots, charged or uncharged, it still does stuff against him. And this is all we really have. This boss is actually kind of easy overall. Most of the bosses in the Wily stages, yeah, we're in the Wily stages, now not Cossack stages anymore, Wily stages, they could pretty much always be beaten easy just by using Mega Man's standard weapons. You know, Mega Man's best weapon is always his standard Buster shots, Buster weapons. And we could even do rapid fire, which actually might be more useful than using charge shots. Just give it a charge shot, charge shots. Charge shot might actually be better, actually, because this boss does have an invincibility buffer. And if you use a charge shot, it's going to do more damage against him. If you use rapid fire Buster shots, it's going to give him an invincibility buffer, same kind for getting a charge shot hit into him, but only it's going to be for one of those small, puny little PvP shooter shots. It's not called P-shot anymore, because we have the charge shot now, so it's a Mega Buster now. But it's pretty much the same thing as what the P-shot was, so now that boss is pretty much gone now, he's destroyed now. And there's still going to be at least one more level in Wily's castle before it can actually take on Dr. Wily himself. This actually is pretty advanced for an NES game, how an NES game could have so many levels like this. This would have been like a really, worthwhile. I bet this was considered to be a really big game. It probably was. Not as big as the SNES, of course, but they still won't really want to show that. We still got it. We're the NES, and we still got it after all these years. There's spikes everywhere. Dr. Wily has a thing for spikes, mostly because it's Mega Man's weakness. He still uses these ladybug enemies. Ooh, good thing I have the invincibility buffer there, so it stops me from getting killed on the spikes. I'm not gonna get that E-Tank. It's probably a trap. See, if I take this path that way, it forces me to dodge that blade thing, those blade enemies, which those blade enemies can easily be destroyed with the Drill Man's weapon, which we still got plenty. Well, we got a full load of it right here, Drill Man. The game is forcing us to use rush checks. I know at this point it's not possible to get to these levels without having all the different rushes, version of rush, so pretty much forces you to use rush check. Nah, we don't want that, Eddie. Yeah, somehow Eddie got into Dr. Wily's castle. I wonder how Eddie got into Dr. Wily's castle, and Dr. Wily's forces didn't detect him. But there, Eddie gave us an E-tank. I don't know, maybe Eddie's secretly working for Dr. Wily, and maybe that's going to be a plot in a future game. So it's all the same enemies. This game does recycle the same enemies a lot, but in all fairness, it is an NES game, so it isn't really capable of producing that many different varieties of enemies. And I used to notice the right path is what took us to the correct path, and the left path would have taken us to a trap. So remember, when in doubt, go right. That's how it seems most of the time in this game. Go right. They really did really do the different paths in this game. And Mega Man 6 is really going to overemphasize the different paths, and eventually it's going to be Mega Man X, where it's like, where each level has so much hidden stuff in it that you could find. So it relies mostly on hidden stuff, not just simply playing through the levels. But these games are more oriented around just simply playing through levels, and occasionally there's like a hidden thing to find. Like in this game, there was that wire thing we had to find, which really does remind me of how the magnet beam was found in Mega Man 1. But we don't, but it's not really required to get through the game. This makes the game a lot easier, unlike the magnet beam, which actually was like, it makes it seem like it's an optional thing to pick up, but it is required for actually beating the game, which is why they shouldn't have made it an optional item like that, or something could have been optional, just something they gave to you as a reward for destroying all them robot masters, or a certain robot master or something like that. That would have been better. That's what they would have done in these later games. That's how these later Mega Man games work with the rush adaptations, or whatever they're called. And look, it's a gumball machine. Could this be foreshadowing something? I don't know. We've seen the gumball machine quite a bit in the game already. They put a few squares over a pit of spikes just to make it look like, it's a Mega Man's weakness is everywhere. Yeah, this seems threatening, but it's not threatening at all. So Dr. W, Dr. Wily, of course, Dr. Wily's signature logo they've had ever since the first or second game. I don't know, when did we see first that logo? I know it was in Mega Man 2, but I can't remember if we actually saw it in Mega Man 1 or not. And so here's the boss, a really large gumball machine that shoots plasma, and those large gumballs. His weakness is that green dot on his forehead. It's easy to hit, actually, if the ring shot, that's actually not, like, if they could have made it more challenging, making him the only weapon that does damage to him, the Mega Buster. But no, they didn't do that. They were kind of lazy when they made this boss. Remember back in Mega Man 2 when you had bosses where it's like, oh, you have to use the crash bomb to hit the certain parts, and you have to get it exactly correct. If you're off by one thing, you fail the boss. But no, they don't do stuff like this, because they're just that lazy. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.